All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Nerf Surf and Turf Day 16 in-depth cast. We're going to go up close, in-depth, and see what's going on the world over. As usual, let's go ahead and start up here in the upper left-hand corner. We will work our way counterclockwise around the map, see what's happening. So we can see Greenland is continuing to send troops down over to here. There is an invasion happening here, coming down from North Canada and attacking down into northern United States. It does appear to me, as of right now, that South Canada here is in a morale tailspin. And that can happen. We all have seen it happen, where your morale gets so low that you're just not developing the materials that you need to keep your troops alive. And so you're just going into negatives. And then the lower your morale gets, the more negatives happen. I've actually seen in the chat here, his allies are not being able to help him because you cannot boost your friend's morale with gold marks that you gain watching videos. And that's kind of a BS thing, a BS feature. It's like gold marks should be gold marks. Now we have different levels of gold marks, but apparently if you want to boost a friend's stuff, you have to pay for those gold marks. So, wow, Bytro, okay. But anyway, PowerVest is in a tough spot. So that could change potentially if they're able to break through into North United States. So to that end, we have a continued push here. Just a single cannon doesn't take out as much stuff as you might think. It's very slow chipping away with one cannon. That's why you need 2 or 3 or 4. That single cannon, he's just doing 1.5 damage per go, or is it 2? Yeah, 1.5. So it's just not a terrific amount of damage. I mean, if you think about it, infantry does 1.2, right? So 1.5, the whole thing about it is it's range, but you need a stack. But they're sitting there chipping away. Looks like in 12 seconds they're about to hit again. So let's see who he's chipping away at. So it looks like he's killed 6 out of this stack, 4 out of this stack, and 6. So 6, 7, and 4. Did he just attack? Yeah. So he just killed 1 right in front of our eyes. 664 turned into 674. Still, though, that's 16 and then 17 now are dead. This thing's been shelling now for over a day. But we do see a cruiser coming in to lend his power to this. Of course, they attack with a power of 2, slightly better than that artillery. However, the interesting thing is down here. So these 4 cruisers down here have been shelling into New York nonstop, and the defenders have been sort of holding back in the outskirts. So what's finally happening is he's starting to move troops closer, and he's creeping closer, and I think this is a good strategy for Greenland. Just move your guys right over by the shore, and so that the defenders will have to come in, and as soon as they come in, just shell them to death, which is kind of what's happening here. A lot of people have died over in this region. And of course, New York is just a wasteland now. There's nothing left at all here. In fact, the recruiting office is damaged now. And it looks like they are trying to build a fort there, but it's just not going to matter because there's nothing in the region that can fight back. Looks like central United States is not really producing much. Southern United States, yeah, it's looking bad. We do have a cruiser. I believe this guy's been here for quite some time. I don't know if Southern United States is still there. He's not AFK. But a lot of their stuff is tied up here in this battle to the north. I'm going to call this one for the northern. I'm going to call this one for the for Winterfell, way up north here. I just don't know how they can get around the 4 cruisers that we see from coming down, as well as the cannon. And then here's the deal breaker, as far as I'm concerned, is 2 fighters and a bomber coming down from northern Canada. As soon as this bomber gets in place, then I don't know what's going to stop him. In fact, if I was the 2 fighters, I'd have the fighters attacking in. To some of these indiscriminate stacks here, where you're not going to get any pushback. I don't necessarily think I would attack into the balloons down over here, because why attack into balloons if you don't have to? They do have a decent defense against air, but I certainly would attack these puny little, what do they get, 0.1 against air, 1/10 of a point against air. So I think right now I'd be having these fighters just continually attack. Why not? They're completely invulnerable. You can't get there without going through this pivotal central territory. So anything in the Air Force, in the airfield here rather, can just attack indiscriminately without any repercussions, basically. So let's move on to another portion of the world. I'm calling this one, as of this day, what is this, day 16, did we say? Yeah, as of day 16, I'm going to call this one for the north. I just don't see how the south can recover from this. And it may have been that early attack over here from Oliesa down into Florida that may have done the trick by pulling troops away and distracting and causing some early damage. Who knows? A lot of these can come down to very, very small details early in the game that shift things up later. So here's what's happening now in the Middle East. Not much change on the land, of course. I think what we have here is probably a cementing of the alliance between Oli and the Libby brothers and Silver Star. Sweet Salt seems to be a bit of their own sort of agent in this. I'm not sure what kind of ties still exist between Sweet Salt and Olesa, but I think officially they're still in a coalition, so they're still not going to attack each other. As far as how they're acting, whether they're acting together or not, I'm not really sure. Morocco does have a lot of forces over here, though. Morocco, as we know, did capture 2 territories over here, probably much to the chagrin of Raya Force and Hemland over here. But they're not doing anything about it because I don't think they want to be at war with yet another person. And they probably also noticed that Morocco has ships in the region, and they don't want anything more in the water that they have to deal with. Now, we do see coming down, Caucasus are coming down with 5 more cruisers here. And that's the thing about Caucasus and Hemland, is they just have way more resources than any other team on the map. They've taken over so much territory, and they're just not stopping. You can see that Caucasus here went ahead and took this territory, which I believe they already had last time, but then now also have this double steal. That's pretty huge. I'm not sure how that transferred over, but I believe, I think that might have still been in the hands of the Ottomans. So that might have been the last thing that the Caucasus took, is that back. Now remember, Benaya made a bid for that early. The Ottomans took it over, and then it looks like now Caucasus has it. And that's bad news, because Caucasus is the naval power, and right now naval is going to dominate. And the last thing you want to do is give your naval enemy 2 more steel to work with. That is a huge naval building block. So something else that's happening here, we do have 2, didn't notice that, 2 submarines coming over from Caucasus. That's pretty huge as well. We see that Italy has entered the fray here. Italy has 2 subs, and it looks like 3 cruisers here, along with that 1 cruiser from Morocco. Not sure where Italy is going to come down, but if I know Papa Smitty knows that the major threat in this region is going to be Hemland Swedish and Grandmaster Waterfowl Hunter. So not really sure where Papa Smitty is, but I would be surprised if he did anything other than resist Hemland and this crew over here, which would mean possibly a tacit sort of treaty or agreement with Benaya. So I'll be interested to see how this plays out. It does look like Hemland and Raya Force have begun to dominate this map. And I don't see how you could avoid that now, especially Romania coming down and taking this territory. And then I think the big news is Raya Force taking all 4 of these territories, gathering up wheat, gas, wood, and double steel. So on top of already pretty massive lands as they were before. Now, what's happened here is unclear to me. Did this get traded away? I thought he had the entire circular region here. So that's something else. You know, anyone who's watching these, the best way to correct me is probably write on the comments below the video on YouTube. Just tell me, hey, this is what happened. Several people have done that and reached out to me. A couple of people have said, well, you could check the newspaper. It's like, yeah, I do. I dig through the newspaper, but there's so much going on. It's so much easier because when it's your war and your front, you can just tell me. So if anybody knows what's going on here with Rostov-on-Don, let me know, because of course that did used to be Caucasus and now it's not. And Caucasus is not an ally with Russia, at least not overtly in a coalition with them. So maybe some trading went on, but if it did, I don't know. What did Caucasus gain? Did he gain this territory? I don't think so. So maybe someone can help me figure out what happened down here. I don't think they're at war. I think there'd be a lot more, not at war. So, strange stuff going on there. So a lot of stuff down here that needs to be talked about. This is huge. Everything hinges on what happens in Arabia, everything. This is the crucial territory in this region. And here's what I mean to say. If Benaiah, his brother, and Silver Star can capture Arabia, then I think they have a fighting chance in this game, especially if they have some allies such as Papa Smitty and potentially Morocco. I'm not sure where those stand. But here's the thing. They need that oil. But even more, they need to keep that oil away from Hemland and Raya Force. So this attack into Arabia that's occurring right now is crucial. Not only that, but we have Egypt coming in with 4 cruisers. We have Morocco. Is this attacking? Morocco is attacking. So we see Morocco has allied themselves directly with those 3 down below. And what this says to me is like, this attack can only go on for so long because we do have a nice fleet coming down that can counter that. So these 2 subs and these 3, 4, 5, those 7 vessels are the equal of these, especially if you send in subs first. So this land attack can only happen for so long, and there's a lot of defenders here. So we see that West Libya has sent in a land force to attack. That's great. That pins this force down. Here's what is not happening. We can see West Libya is coming in with more troops to support that attack. That makes sense because this is a crucial, it's kind of an all or nothing. You either get Arabia or you don't. They need to take Arabia. So to that effect, you see Marcus the Dorcas coming in with 65 troops. They're also landing here. So you've got 65 coming in. You have another 12 with 2 horses coming in. So you've got about, 70, 80 troops with 2 cavalry coming in to support this attack. Already these ships are on the shore there. Here's my big question of the day. Waiting. Why is 58 waiting? This is an all-in attack. If they don't get Arabia, I don't think they have a chance in this game. Unless everybody teams up on Hemland and Raya Force, this is a do-or-die attack. Why is this 58 sitting here? It's not defending anything. There's no roads to anything. You might have concerns about this stack. I get it. So maybe only send 30, right? Leave 28 behind. Why is 58 sitting here? And then I have a bigger question. Why is 75 sitting here? 75 in the back country. All 75 of these should be here fighting right now. So this is a big mystery in the Middle East. We see what amounts to an all-in attack from East and West Libya to try to conquer Arabia in what I think might be the most crucial battle so far, as sort of these behemoths have sort of rubbed up against each other here, and not in a good way either. So we're talking about Hemland and Raya Force are the main driving forces up here, and then the Libby brothers down here, the main driving forces down here, and they've clashed in the Ottoman region. And then we sort of have a natural land and proximity advantage for the northern guys up here, but we have a similar proximity and land advantage down here for the Libby brothers and Silver Star. And what we see here is inexplicably, we have about 140 troops, 140 troops-ish that are not taking part in this attack. I don't know what's happening. And then we do have some fighters, but the fighters might have some trepidation because of the 2 fighters embedded in this Air Force. No, there's only 1 fighter. Ooh, I might just go up against that. Wow. That means that you got 8 and 8 against you have superior attack and defense. Now, this Air Force will have more hit points. This Air Force will have more attack. So tough call. I don't know if I would risk my fighters, but it's worth it in an all-in situation like this, very potentially. So very interesting stuff down here. A lot going on. More boats coming into play. We see, of course, Italy coming in with boats, but then Caucasus coming in with a lot of Navy. And this is a limited, this is an exploding offer. This is something that's going to run out soon. If Caucasus comes down, unifies his fleet, he can clear this out. And once naval superiority is established over here, this 75 is stuck over here. So some baffling behavior here from Egypt, just simply not taking part in a massive all-in attack. that is basically a make or break attack as far as I can see. Elsewhere in Europe, we can see that we still have some active AIs in the game. Nobody's rushing to take over these AIs. They're sort of maintaining. We do see that we still have Spain with a chunk over here, just merrily hanging out. France has finally taken over the last of the Austria-Hungary Empire. So very good. France got that capital bonus. France also gets any resources that might have been lingering there. And maybe France will go ahead and start to attack in with his massive reserve forces. 90-2. There's just nobody in the field. Now, it may be that France just doesn't want to punch the nose of that bear right now, because if you look at this, this is a bear. Sweden now has taken 2 more territories from last time I saw. No, 3 more. Sweden now has Berlin. Is Sweden at war with Great Britain? No. That means that was traded. And we talked about that. We talked about the fact that Page may trade things away in order to maintain the land that they have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, remember there was 7. So Sweden is taking advantage, leaning on the situation, taking advantage of the fact that there is power there, and that Page does need to bargain away a few of those territories that were sort of gifted by Poland. So there's good gameplay all around here. But let me show you what kind of good gameplay Page is playing. Page is easily in first place. So keep in mind, a lot of that means that Page just has a superior sort of infrastructure, a superior economy right now. Now, Page is a naval force that only appears to have 1 cruiser on the map at this time, and that's what needs to change. I'm not sure what's going on with Page. Page has been spending a lot of time looking at economy in Europe and dealing with politics, but potentially we need to start concentrating on getting those factories up. And we have a level 2 factory here that should be, as far as I'm concerned, built up. Well, no, I don't know why that must have been built up by another player. I don't like building on singles, obviously, but that is an oil. So that's a nice advantage for Page as well. But so I really want to see more cruisers coming out of this region. It may be that Page just isn't under much stress here in terms of international fighting, but we have a double steel here that is still a level 2 workshop. And this late in the game, that just shouldn't be the case. Now, here we have a place that should be building a cruiser right now, at least, and a level 2 factory by this point in the game. So very interesting to see. I think Page has been focused on expansion and maintaining, and really needs to shift over to the economy. By this point in the game, a person with this much economy and this much land mass really should have more than 1 cruiser. So let's look for more cruisers from Page coming out in the future. Now, keeping in mind, to me, this is the team that has sort of flown under the radar here. Northern Russia, Finland, and Sweden. And not that they've flown under the radar, but they're just hard to get to up there to the north. You see, Russia has now taken over more territory further south, which to me looks like, does that mean there's a hot war here going on between these two? Let's go ahead and see. How did you get? Yes, there is. Finland is actively attacking Russia. Holy crap, this is big. This is big, ladies and gentlemen. So does that mean, yeah, that means that if Russia collapses, yeah, Finland's attacking over here as well. Wow. Okay. And it looks to me like Russia is, yeah, Northern Russia is the air power. So Northern Russia doesn't have a whole heck of a lot of resources to build those air units, but it does look like we might have a situation now where Russia is starting to take more and more territory. I'm not sure how this territory got taken. Let's just make sure that Russia really is at war with Northern Russia. So, well, Northern Russia here. Who are you at war with? Northern Russia. You are at war with Russia. Okay, so yes, we now have Northern Russia with an additional territory. So now Northern Russia is up 3 territories. And that is significant, especially because those are all building materials, wood, steel, that will be useful for building aircraft. And don't be surprised if Finland doesn't leave some of these open, bomb them out and leave them open so that Northern Russia can come down and capture more. Double steel would be real nice for their air-only person to be taking. And man, if they take over Russia, I want you to picture what could happen here. Look how much Sweden has taken over in Europe here. Look at Finland, all of that pink. And then imagine all of this also belonging to them. I think we might have a sleeping giant in the north. A lot of our attention has gone to Hemland and Swedish Viking and Raya Force over here, as well as the Libby twins here and Silver Star. But the big sleeper might just be up here, Winterfell, the far north. So very interesting stuff going on in this map. We'll keep our eyes on what's happening here. As far as the three of these, who is the naval player? It's got to be Finland. They're just not, they don't seem to be specializing a whole heck of a lot. In fact, I don't see any specialties out of Sweden or Finland, and maybe I'm just not looking close enough. I mean, I literally, I don't see armored cars. So they too, like Page, might be really concentrating on simply, look at this, all the way down from Russia. So there's that air again from northern Russia. They might be just concentrating strictly on expansion and might really need to start, start specializing. So we've got some interesting stuff coming. And goodness, if Great Britain is working with this Northern Coalition, then that's scary. So cool stuff going on, guys. Again, these players do not disappoint. This is an exciting game. I really expected things to be wrapped up in the New World by now, but they are just locked in a desperate death, sort of life and death battle over here. I did call it for the North, but the South is not making it easy. So we'll see what happens in the next couple of days over there, especially as Greenland continues to churn out the cruisers. That's just something that Greenland is known for. If you've played this game before, Greenland will eventually swarm you with the cruisers. So it was a great decision, obviously, to make them the surf player. All right, that's it, guys. I'm going to go ahead and let you go. It's been awesome as always. And, it's still anybody's game. It really is. It's still anybody's game. I have no idea what's going to happen. We talk about the fact that Hemland and Raya Force seem to have momentum now. But if the entire Middle East is unified, which it kind of looks like, that's a huge power block. So and then really it's going to depend on Arabia. I'm telling you, there's at least, I think there's 3 oil down here, and then I think another gas. There's a lot of energy here, and that's going to be pivotal in the coming days and even weeks. And it's oil that's fairly easy to defend. It's down here in the corner. So we'll see. We're going to keep our eyes on Arabia, see what happens down there. That's an essential, crucial sort of place. So thanks for checking in, guys. As always, lots of fun to cast these games and watch them with you. Hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. So I'll see you all next time. Adios, amigos.